Hello, welcome everyone. In this video, I'm going to work out some examples where we are going to graph a line where the slope and the x-intercept of the line is provided to us. So let's go over this example. One thing about the x-intercept is that it's the point where the line is going to cross the x-axis. So this is our x-axis right here, along this line right here, and we know that this particular line has an x-intercept of 0, so this is the point we're talking about. That's where the graph is going to cross the x-axis. And the other thing that we know about this line is the slope equals 2, where m equals 2. That means rise over run equals 2, or same as 2 over 1. Okay. Now let's go ahead and first get the equation of the line. So we know that y equals mx plus b. So y equals mx plus b. Now we plug in the information that we have here. Y equals, we know m, so it's 2, and then x plus b. Now we have to find out the b, okay? But we don't know b, so we are provided one of the points, which is the x-intercept. So we can take this point and plug in the x and the y value for the y and the x here and solve for b. So that's what I'm going to do next. So for y, I'm going to plug in 0, negative, and then we have m, 2 already there. And for x, I'm going to plug in negative 4 plus b. Okay. Now if we simplify this, we get negative 8 here. When you multiply 2 with negative 4, it gives you negative 8 plus b. And then you add 8 on both sides. Now that would give us b equals 8. Now we can take this and we can actually plug in here for b. So y equals 2x plus 8. Now this is the equation of this line that we're talking about in this example. Now the next thing we want to do is graph this line. So we basically have the point and we're going to use the slope to move on to the other points. So the slope is 2 over 1. So that means rise is 2 and the run is 1. So for every 1 unit in the x direction, if we do 1 here in the x direction, the graph is rising 2 units in the y direction. 2 units in the y direction. Okay, so this is how your slope is telling look like, or that's what your slope is telling you. So we move 1 unit in the x direction and the graph is going to move 2 units in the y direction. 1 in the x direction, 2 in the y direction, 1 to the right, 2 up. All right, so we got enough points. And similarly, 1 to the left and 2 down. You can also do that. 1 to the left and 2 down. You can also do that. All right, so this is what our graph of the line looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and connect these points right there. And this is the equation of the line. Y equals 2x plus 8. I can't really go further because the window is small. The most I have is the 7, so that's why we won't be able to see the y-intercept. But the y-intercept is 8, so that means it will cross the y-axis at 8. So, but the point of this particular example is finding the equation of the line and graphing it using the information that is provided to us. So let's go ahead and do the next example. Okay. Same thing, we want to find the equation and graph a line with slope -1 and x-intercept at 2, 0. So the x-intercept means the graph is crossing the x-axis at this particular point. Okay, so the y value is 0 along this x-axis. So for this particular line, the x-axis, the x-intercept is 2, 0. So we are around here. This is the x-intercept point. Now we're going to go ahead and write down our slope. M equals -1, so it's a negative slope. So this one, for every 1 unit in the x direction, we are going down 1 unit in the y direction. So that's a -1 slope. This is m equals -1. So your line is falling down. So now go ahead and write down y equals mx plus b. That's our slope-intercept form, and then we plug in the information that we have. So here y equals, for m, I'm going to plug in -1, so -1, and then we have x plus b, and then I can simplify it further. Y equals, just when we have a -1 as a coefficient, we can drop it off, -x plus b. Okay, so this one and this one is same. Whenever there is only 1 or -1, we can just write it by the variable itself. That means -1 is multiplying with this x. Okay, now the next thing we have to do is find out the b. For this, we can take this point that is given to us and plug in into our equation for y and x. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So for y, we know it's 0 equals negative right here, and for x, we know it's 2 plus b. Okay, so simplify this. We have -2 plus b, and then we add 2 on both sides. So b equals 2. And now I'm going to go ahead and substitute this 2 for b in the equation. So y equals -x plus 2. Okay, so this is the equation of the line, represented by the slope and the x-intercept. Now we go ahead and do the same technique, so we can graph some points here. So for every 1 unit to the right, it moves down by 1 unit. So if you move 1 unit to the right, this is 5 right here. 3, I'm sorry, not 5, 3. This is 5. So this is -1, -3, -4, and -5. Okay, so we move 1 unit to the right and it goes down by 1 unit. That's the slope of -1. 1 to the right, 1 unit down, 1 to the right, 1 unit down. And similarly, 1 to the left, 1 up, 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 right here. So this is the graph of this line looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and plot this right there. And this is equal to y equals -x plus 2. It has a slope of -1, so, and it has a y-intercept of 2, and the x-intercept we already know is 2 as well, 2, 0 right here. This is your x-intercept, and this is your y-intercept. So that's how you are going to graph these lines when you're given a slope and you're given one of the x or the y-intercepts. And this is the x-intercept. So hopefully this helps.